we do in life echoes through eternity. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Tajic Legion's Edge. Soldier Tribal. Take a look at our opening hand. A lot of lands, but we have a Stoneforge Mystic, which can get something important. And we have this Ancient Tomb, which will speed us up pretty good. Opponents we're facing today looks like Emara, Soul of the Accord, new and out of Guilds of Ravnica, green and a white for a 2/2. Whenever it becomes tapped, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token with lifelink. That's actually not great for us since she's probably going to clog up the board and we won't be able to attack through super easily. So play the Bloodstained Mire right here, crack the Bloodstained Mire. Sacred Foundry already in our hand, sadly. So we'll just get the Plateau and pass the turn. Thinking about like maybe a Mask of Memory might be the right call right here, so we can loot away some of these lands. A Double Striker off the top could also change what we plan to do. Thraben Inspector coming down. It's going to make a clue token. We draw a mountain, so yeah, probably definitely looking at Mask of Memory right here. Play the Plains, and then play the Stoneforge Mystic. Could also go for, well, Dousing Dagger gives us a ton of mana ramp, but I think we really need the card advantage, so... Next turn, if we played Ancient Tomb, we'd have 4 mana, just not quite enough to attack with Fire and Ice. I want to get that card draw going soon. Plus, Mask of Memory doesn't attract as much attention as Fire and Ice does, so that's a thing to think about as well. Finishing up our opponents, we're also facing a Mimeoplasm, nasty Graveyard Commander out of the original Commander set. This deck can do some work. I've been run over by this Commander many a times, so we'll need to be careful of that. And then finally, Athreos, God of Passage. They finally fixed the Athreos bug in Magic Online, so people can start using that again. Doesn't look like opponents on any of the janky Rats plans or Shadowborn Apostles or anything like that sometimes come up with Athreos. So we'll see what they're up to. There's a Sylvan Library for the Mimeoplasm. They're going to crack their clue and draw a card. Looks like they kept a 2-lander, hoping that the clue would get them into a 3rd land, and it did not do that. We draw a Mentor of the Meek. Yeah, I think right here it's just going to be Mask of Memory and start looting. So we will play the Mountain. Actually, hold the Mountain, play the Sacred Foundry, untapped. I just want to get the Sacred Foundry down so that we have red, white, and just so that we don't loot it away by accident or anything like that. So equip the Mask of Memory, going to swing into the Mimeoplasm. Mask of Memory will trigger, opponent loses 1 life. We will loot. We draw another land, so we'll get rid of that fetch. We have Plateau and Sacred Foundry already. No Mistveil Plains in this deck. There's no Sunforger, so it didn't seem entirely necessary. Yeah, so we'll pass turn like that. Got an awkward mana situation coming up next turn where we have 3 cards that cast 3. Actually, well, 4 cards that cast 3, I guess, including our commander. And with the Ancient Tomb, we'll only have 5 mana, so it won't be necessarily the best use of mana. Emara are going to swing into us. Sure, they'll get a token with lifelink. So we go down to 35, take 2 commander. And opponent's going to lay down a Ledev Champion. Here's a new one out of Guilds of Ravnica. When it attacks, you may tap any number of untapped creatures you control. It gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each tapped creature this way. Pay 5, create a 1/1 soldier with lifelink. Interesting. So I guess they can make it really big if they want to. Opponent's going to Crossing Grip our Mask of Memory, so that's not great. Mask of Memory doesn't usually take the early artifact and enchantment hate. It's not usually scary enough, but if you do get a couple hits off with it, it will fill your hand up very nicely. Luckily for us, it did loot us past the land, drawing us into a little bit more action. Probably going to look at the Mentor of the Meek this turn. Athreos coming down. There's a Skull Clamp. Skull Clamp is interesting. We could Skull Clamp our Intrepid hero if we wanted to. That does actually give us something to do with his Ancient Tomb, so we'll play the Ancient Tomb. Play the Mentor of the Meek. Play the Skull Clamp. I'll put the Skull Clamp on the Mentor of the Meek since it's probably more likely to take single target removal than Stoneforge Mystic at this point. Although maybe I could have just stood back and blocked with Stoneforge. I don't know. It's tough to say. As much as I want to attack the Graveyard opponent, attacking them for 1 just doesn't seem that useful, especially when there's a bunch of... There's 1/1s and 1/2s on the board, so, you know. Leaving back the blocker, probably the right call. As an Anointed Procession for the Emara, that seems pretty good. That's probably where that Crossing Grip should have been pointed. Opponent's going to send the 2/2 at us. The question is, do we want the kind of more sustained card draw from Mentor of the Meek, or do we just block with the Mentor of the Meek and draw the 2 cards? Yeah, probably should have... I should have put the Skull Clamp on the Stoneforge Mystic. Ooh, it's a 5/5. I think I'm going to hang on to it. I feel like this match might be a little bit of a grinder, so... Especially with, like, Athreos, the Mimeoplasm's a very heavy graveyard deck. Tokens might just run everyone over. That's a thing that could happen. But if that doesn't happen, if someone starts laying down removal, I think trying to get some sustained card draw out of this Mentor of the Meek is probably where we want to be, especially after losing the Mask of Memory. One thing I've noticed with this deck is that it performs well in removal light metas. People start laying down board wipes. This deck probably isn't really where you want to be, at least with its current configuration. I have been working on decks that are good at counteracting a lot of board wipes. That's a Survival of the Fittest. So opponent's got the 2 big green enchantments out, Survival and Sylvan Library. Those cards aren't broken at all. Our deck, unfortunately, very removal light. With all the lifelink that the Emara opponent has, it doesn't make like a ton of sense to try and swing back into him. That's a Hope of Girapur. That seems pretty nasty in an Athreos deck. Oreskos Explorer. I've tried messing around with this card a little bit. It's like one of those cards that you always cut to get down to 100. It's like the 101st card. I did use it in the Elish Norn ETB deck just a little bit, and the 1 or 2 times that I did get to resolve it, it was actually pretty good. Just having a lot of lands in hand means however long that game goes, you can make a land drop every single turn. And doing that is very, very powerful. In the later turns, if you make every single land drop up to that point, then you can do so much more than your opponents if they start missing land drops. Opponent gets, looks like 3 lands. Pretty good. We draw Battlefield Forge, not the best. Play the Slayer Stronghold right here. I think we're kind of on the slow plan this game, unfortunately. I'm gonna play the Intrepid Hero. That should slow down some of the shenanigans, at least next turn once it untaps. Although we could give it haste if we needed to. Well, I guess I'm gonna be using that mana, so I think we're okay for a turn. So we will pay the 1, draw a card. It's a Fencing Ace. We're in a tough position now because a board wipe. Who would play the board wipe? We would draw 2 cards. I'm going to go for the Fencing Ace right here because we can't hold up to Fairy's Protection anyway. So I'm going to play the Fencing Ace, and if someone plays a board wipe, we will draw 2 cards off of the Skull Clamp, so I feel okay about that. No attacks from us. Again, the 1 damage just doesn't seem that meaningful here. It's not really worth trying to upset someone. That's a Cathar's Crusade. Removal is needed. So if things get too big, we can always Intrepid Hero, but Intrepid Hero only going to be good for 1 tap each turn cycle. And with how big Cathar's Crusade can make things, can make everything, that could be a real problem. So, Cathar's Crusade coming down. Opponent says their deck is a budget deck that does things, but it's budget because they got all the cards for free when their friend left MTGO. Well, I guess you could consider that budget in a way. It's budget for you, maybe not for them. So, opponent gonna send a lifelinker into us. Yeah, kind of annoying. Cathar's Crusade's gonna trigger. Ooh. Yep, this is not good. And these creatures are huge. They are 3/3s. We're going to take a hit for 6 right here. It's not great. One's going to block with their Oreskos. Athreos will trigger. They're going to put that at the Emara. Seems like, Emara can just pay the life, so they're probably better off pointing that at us. Since we have low life, we'd probably just give them the creature, if that's what they really wanted. Or maybe they're trying to get the life. Maybe they're trying to get Amara's life down a little bit. Opponent's got a Sylvan Library trigger. Sure. Would not be upset to see a board wipe, though prefer if the board wipe happened next turn when we get to Fairy's Protection in response. But either way, a board wipe is very needed. Opponent's going to Survival. I don't know that there's a lot of creatures that really do the job right here. Getting rid of Anointed Procession and Cathar's Crusade is probably a pretty good idea, though. Opponent gets a Hermit Druid. Well, oh, they have a Terrastodon in their graveyard already. Terrastodoning some things that aren't ours would be ideal. Opponent got some Fleet Swallower. That's one I haven't really seen before. Target player puts half their library rounded up into the graveyard. Traumatize on a creature. How about that? Ooh, Children of Corliss. That seems really good right here. Make it hard for a lot of decks. And there's Lieutenant Kurtar. So potentially we can start chipping away at the Emara army a little bit. We draw Body in Mind, you say? I mean, do we give the Mimeoplasm a ton of creatures and hope that they can wipe the board or something like that? That would give us a lot of blockers, so that's something to think about. Yeah, let's try it. So, play the Mountain. On the other hand, I do really want to leave up Teferi's Protection, and we cannot do that if we go with the Body in Mind. That is unfortunate. Oh, I know. We can use the Stoneforge Mystic. Whew! Glad I didn't miss that. Alright, so use the Stoneforge Mystic. Get the Body in Mind down. Put that on the Fencing Ace. Tap our lands like that. We'll use the Ancient Tomb only if we have to. Life's getting a little bit low at 20. Oh, we won't be able to draw with the Mentor of the Meek and hold up to Fairies. So send that into the Mimeoplasm opponent. Body in Mind's going to trigger. Mentor of the Meek will trigger. Yep, can't pay for it. Got to hold on to that Teferi's Protection. Same thing. And then we'll pass the turn like that. Hold up the Teferi's Protection. That's a doubling season. The Emara opponent really getting out of hand right here. Gonna counterspell that. Alright, seems good. Does leave them pretty vulnerable to an attack from Emara. Opponent has a Stormtide Leviathan in their graveyard, so they could stop all ground attacking. That's something. So opponent's going to tap their Emara with Conclave Tribunal. It's gonna exile a permanent. Let's see what they're going after. Cathar's Crusade's gonna trigger a bunch of times. Gonna go after our Body in Mind. Honestly, I think it's Teferi's protection time. I don't think we can survive without that Body in Mind. With the Body in Mind, as long as we can get through the damage, we can keep drawing, and that will give us some way to try to get out from all the stuff that our opponent's playing. If we lose that, we lose the card draw associated with it. We lose kind of the power and everything else, protection that comes with it. So yeah, I think it's Teferi's protection time. Plus that means opponent won't attack us. Does mean that the Mimeoplasm opponent is probably out of the game, though. Opponent sending all their stuff at us, I think not realizing how Teferi's protection works. Not that we'll be able to, like, alpha strike them, but that does leave them vulnerable to an attack. That's something. Said he knows it doesn't hurt him. That's interesting that he made that attack then. Would like to see the graveyard opponent lay down a board wipe right here. Gave them so many goodies in their graveyard. There's a Void Winnower. That thing won't cause any problems. Gonna go for a Stitch Together and a Body Double. I mean, I imagine it has to be Stormtide Leviathan. Oh, it's a Terastodon. Terastodon also pretty good. I would have went for Stormtide Leviathan personally because, yeah. Is going to take down the Conclave Tribunal, the Cathar's Crusade, and the Anointed Procession. Hope they've got like a Toxic Deluge to follow it up. Otherwise, it might be a short round for them. Psychic Corrosion. Whenever you draw a card, each opponent puts the top 2 cards of the library into the graveyard. Interesting. This seems to be a non-standard build of the Mimeoplasm. A few more spells than I would expect. Unfortunately, they do get a bunch of elephant tokens, which are going to be hard to deal with. They get double the elephant tokens because the one thing was still in play when all that happened. So, yep, still looking for that board wipe. Vein Whip Punisher. I should have used the Intrepid hero before it phased out. That's an oopsie. I thought about that and then I kind of got sidetracked. I was going to target an elephant. Land tax, not what we were looking for. You know, I think everything else is staying back in the fencing aces. Going in, we'll get the 2 wolves, and then we'll try to draw with those and hope that finds something. So first hit with the fencing ace, mills 10. We get a Mentor of the Meek trigger. We will pay for that. Is a land. Lands are not helpful. Another Mentor of the Meek. So sword triggers again. I'm gonna pay red right here. Weapons Trainer, not where we were looking to be. Now that Teferi's protection's gone, I'm kind of worried about like having to commit more stuff to board, but we just need blockers. We won't be able to draw with Weapons Trainer off of the Mentor of the Meek. It's power 2 or less. It would have to be, I think, Chain Reactions, probably. Because opponent's creatures are so big now, I think the only spell that really, well, I guess there's 2. So it would be Chain Reaction or Blasphemous Act. So I think we might be on the need to survive another turn plan. Just try to wall up with as many blockers as we can. Skull Clamp on a wolf. Play a Plains. Play the Weapons Trainer, play the Land Tax, shoot Emara. That'll at least slow opponent down a teeny bit. Opponent's actually been missing land drops, so if we can get rid of their board, they'll probably be a little bit behind if someone can dig out a board wipe. We've got 5 red-based board wipes in this deck, so if we can just keep drawing for a while. Archetype of Courage. Creatures you control have first strike. Creatures your opponents control can't have or gain first strike. Wonder how that works with double strike. Does make it significantly harder to block because we were actually in a position where we could have like traded with some things in a block, and now that's not really going to be the case. See what opponent wants to do. It's like coming in at us, sending all the elephants at us, sending a lot of the 5/5s at the Athreos opponent. So definitely block this. Definitely use this one to block with the Skull Clamp on it. If we double block a token, we can kill it. I think we just got to chump. Throw the Stoneforge Mystic in front. Try to soak up a bit more damage. We do have Light and Shadow in the deck, so we can potentially reanimate it. So opponent just going to use the Children of Corliss. I think they mistimed that pretty badly. That one doesn't work like a fog. I believe you have to lose the life first and then use it. So they might just be out of the game, or close to it. Opponent says Dumbo's angry. A lot of elephants. So a lot of our stuff goes down. We only lose 3 life, which isn't too bad. And Skull Clamp's going to trigger. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Captain of the Watch. Okay, it's not the board wipe we need. Path of Ancestry take us 2 turns, but we could potentially do some scrying. Captain of the Watch would... Captain of the Watch is going to make 3 power creatures, which means we can't draw off of the Mentor of the Meek, which is not really where we want to be. And Mimeoplasm scoops it up, so he's in trouble now. There's a Tessa, Envoy of Ghosts. Interesting. Ooh, that's got the No Mercy effect on it. Ooh, it seems... They have to survive the hit. They're only at 15. That'll be a tough thing to do. But if they can do that somehow, then... One's going to swing in with the Athreos and the Lieutenant Kurtar. Sure. Unfortunately, our type of courage is not big enough to kill with the Intrepid hero. So, opponent's attack, not terribly profitable. They go down to 57. Another land? How many lands is that? Oh my. Alright, well, in that case, so use Intrepid hero on this Ledev champion. We're going to Skull Clamp the Intrepid hero. We need a board wipe. Blasphemous Act would be the most ideal because we get Tajic down. Oh my god. Not a board wipe. Captain of the Watch will give us 4 blockers. Maybe we sacrifice the Weapons Trainer, and then we can draw with the Captain of the Watch. Well, I guess opponent probably won't let us hit with the double strike on the Fencing Ace, so I would guess that they would block the Fencing Ace, and anything they block with would kill it. Yeah, okay. So put the Skull Clamp on the Fencing Ace. I'm not going to sacrifice the Weapons Trainer right here. I'm just going to hope that we draw what we need with the Fencing Ace. So opponent's going to block like we expected. That's fine. So we get to draw with Skull Clamp. Needs to be a board wipe. Wow. Are you kidding me? Alright, so play the Mana Crypt. Play Captain of the Watch. Now's a good time to get the Path of Ancestry down. So play the Path of Ancestry. And we're just going to sit on the Boros Charm. Oketra the True coming down. So opponent's sending all the elephants at us and all the soldiers at the Athreos. That's actually good, because we can actually take down a lot of those elephants. Actually, I think with our Boros Charm, with the Boros Charm and the Tessa, I think opponent's actually going to lose quite a bit of their army. So we blocked everything coming at us. Oh, nope, I think we missed one. Okay, so yeah, we blocked everything coming at us. They're going to lose all of those elephants. They're going to lose maybe 1 or 2 of the 5/5s. Play the Boros Charm. Athreos is going to trigger a bunch of times. Tessa's going to start triggering. So all of opponent's elephants go down. They lost a couple of the 5/5s. Their army's not nearly what it used to be. Unfortunately, we don't have a way to get this Sword of Body and Mind through right now. Exploits a creature, you draw 2 cards, lose 2 life. Okay. Opponent's going to Angelic Purge the Archetype. Okay. Okay, that's something. May have gone for Oketra, but it's something. Getting rid of First Strike is something, though, because that made it really hard to kill those tokens as they come in. We've got some tokens around, which means we can double block and do some stuff like that. Opponent's only got 2 blockers now. That's also a thing to think about. And we have Vigilance. So opponent going to swing in with the Tessa. Sure. All right, back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip on us. Come on, deck. Do what you were born to do. Where's that red burn spell we've been needing so badly? Going Tails. On the flip. That's good. We need the life right now. Nope. It's another land. I just can't believe how many lands we've drawn. It's very difficult to believe. I guess that means we... ooh, that's not good. So the Tessa opponent scoops it. Said he missed a play very hard. Alright, well, Body and Mind on a token. Skull Clamp on a token. If we send Captain of the Watch in, then we can Skull Clamp these tokens. Yeah, I think that's what it's got to be. Okay, so Captain of the Watch is going in. Basically sending everything except Mentor. Do we send the Weapons Trainer? I feel like we need... I feel like we might need the Weapons... Nah, send the Weapons Trainer. Send in everything. And the reason I'm sending the Weapons Trainer is that because if it dies and the Captain dies, then we can draw whenever we create a wolf. So opponent's going to block those 2. Okay.
You find yourself alone, riding in green fields with the sun on your face. Do not be troubled, for you are in Elysium, and you're already dead!
So, our things go down. Opponent loses a little bit of life. Skull Clamp triggers. Assemble the Legion Odric. Opponent doesn't have that many things. I guess we can go on the Assemble the Legion plan. One thing we can do, we have enough mana to play Odric, play Tajic, and then give all of our creatures first strike, which can take down a bunch of the incoming creatures. I think that's where we need to be. So use Path of Ancestry. That's going to be good for this Odric. We'll get to scry one time, and hopefully scry away any lands that might be on top. Vanquisher's Banner is... it's not what we need. We really need... does that give us enough push to get through? No, I don't think so. I think Vanquisher's Banner is a no. Actually going to shuffle our library. That seems like a really good idea. So play the Windswept Heath, crack the Windswept Heath, get a Plains, cast Tajic, and we're going to sit on that first strike ability because it'll be really hard for opponent to attack in profitably. Opponent has a lot more power than us on the board, and that is something to be concerned about, but they've been missing land drops most of the game, so if we are able to keep surviving, we're going to be able to take so many more game actions than they will. There's a Nissa. Probably need to think about dealing with that. Going to untap 2 forests. Okay. Hopefully it's not heroic intervention. So we're going to use Tajic's ability right here. Give all of our stuff first strike. And, I mean, that means that opponent won't really be able to attack in super well. Yup. Deterred the attack. Nice. Now we can get the Assemble the Legion down. Flying and Vigilance is where we want to be. Little sad about giving up the Captain of the Watch. Back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. I don't know. We'll see if that paid off or not. Tails. Lost the flip. Ooh, life's getting low. Scavenger Grounds. So anything we play will get haste on our turn, which is cool. So we're going to lay down the Scavenger Grounds just in case opponent has any shenanigans. This is a tough position. Not planning to attack this turn. I think we just need to stall for another turn or two. Lay down the Assemble the Legion. I'm going to Skull Clamp 1 token. That's actually why we got rid of the Captain of the Watch. Swiftblade Vindicator Emeria is something. We already played a land, sadly. How many planes do we have? 3, 4, 5. Ooh, we need to get going on plains land drops. We have a Myriad Landscape. That could get us there. That's still 2 or 3 turns away, though. This game may be over before that. Ooh. That'll give us creatures double strike all the time. That'll give us a card draw. Use the Scavenger Ground. Vanquisher's Banner's back. And we're going to put the Sword of Body and Mind on the Swiftblade. Don't want to Ancient Tomb that last 2 life right here. So Odric's going to spread the abilities around. Ooh, we have Vigilance. Wait, do we have Vigilance? We do have Vigilance. All the tokens are back. So maybe the Vanquisher's Banner next turn is where we need to be. Problem is opponent's life total's too high. If their life total was lower, we could have forced them into a block, which would be good. Opponent's going to untap 2 forests, making a lot of mana. Tooth and Nail's always a problem. It's a Vorinclex. Vorinclex is a very big problem. Odric's going to trigger. So we get a Mana Crypt flip and an Assemble the Legion. Kind of wish we got that Worn Power Stone down. Let's go heads. Lost the flip. Ooh, getting low now. Mentor of the Meek is going to trigger. Really need a board wipe. Yeah, I think we pay. Dowsing Dagger and Lena. Play Emeria. Do we just try to Alpha Strike? Everything's going to have double strike. Let's check our power on board. We have 22 power on board. And we can get 6, 7, 8. That's 30. Plus the Battle Cry. I think we can force opponent into blocks. Granted, they will have Oketra. Oh, I think I've got it. All right. So, yep. We're just going to have to eat the Vorinclex. Play Hero of Bladehold. All right. So we get hit with the Vorinclex very badly. We'll get a Scry. It's Hammer of Nazan. We'll keep that because of the Odric. We give all our stuff indestructible with that. So Lena will trigger. Oh, I think we can do this. Oh, we got this. Yeah, we got this. We have enough power. No on all these Mentors. Go to combat. I'm going to sacrifice Lena so everything's indestructible. Odric's going to spread the abilities around. And everything's indestructible with Vigilance. Send it in. So put the Hero of the Bladehold ability on the bottom. We'll mentor this, Mentor of the Meek, I guess. Put some more attackers into play. Mentor of the Meek will trigger more times. Battle Cry will trigger. And now we are looking good. That is a lot of damage. Opponent double blocking 1 creature. Ooh, we have Trample! The Swiftblade Vindicator gives Trample. Oh my god, that's huge. I think opponent's just dead. So opponent tries to block as much as they can. I don't think this is going to be... They go down to 29 and negative 24. We got them. Oh my god, where was the board wipe? Waiting so long, Hammer. Enlightened Tutor, Plains. Recruiter of the Guard, Feast and Famine, Selfless Squire. Nope, the board wipe's not coming. There's 5 of them. Oh man. There it is. 15 turns away still. Oh my god. Wow. I can't believe we pulled that off. One of the reasons we actually pulled that off, I've been doing some studying on mana. Our opponent missed a lot of land drops where we made every single one throughout the game because all we drew was lands all game, and we were able to draw just enough cards to continuously take game actions where our opponent was really limited towards the end by the number of things that they could cast. Now, if they untap with that Vorinclex, they were going to be in much better shape, but really lucky that we had the power to just swing it out right there. That was such tricky playing. I mean, I thought we were dead 3 or 4 turns ago, and using everything at our disposal to try and stay alive. And I mean, the MVP right there was Odric Lunarch Marshal, just spreading the double strike and the trample, spreading vigilance, indestructible. Actually, that first time we held them off, I think, was the most exciting, where we put first strike on all of our creatures, and their tokens were gonna get pretty roughed up if they tried to come in. So yeah, Odric Lunarch Marshal carrying the day. Wow, that was a game. I don't even know how we pulled that out. This deck still has some struggles, apparently, which is drawing the cards that it needs. I did cut one board wipe, which I'm deeply regretting after playing that game. There are 5 of them. The deck does want to be aggressive. This isn't really how you draw it up for this deck. You really kind of want to be out there early and aggressive and swinging. Losing our Mask of Memory was probably the most painful thing that game. Otherwise, we would have been able to loot away a lot of those lands and just find better cards much sooner. And then the token doublers and all that stuff started coming down, which, you know, yeah, Mask of Memory is good, but, you know, if you're the green player with the Croson Grip, you got to think about what else might be coming if you're shooting the Mask of Memory. If you see someone on tokens, things like Anointed Procession, Double Egg Season, that stuff is really, really powerful. Probably worth your removal more than Mask of Memory is. But, wow, that was a game. Obviously, I can't monetize something like this, but if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please think about stopping over to my Patreon page because it really helps support the channel. And maybe we can do some more of these fun flavor videos in the